All right, so it has been a while. It's probably been about, I don't know, like 3 months or so, like almost pretty much a quarter of a year since I've really been posting videos regularly on this channel, and that is just well, it's not acceptable. But anyway, I just want to go through and explain a little bit about what I've been doing, where I've been traveling, and just basically what has happened during this 3-month period where you didn't really hear much from me. So where did we leave off? I believe we left off, I had to leave Bulgaria, Sofia, Bulgaria. And then my wife's grandfather died. So we packed up everything like right away, that day, went to the airport, got on a plane, and we flew, back to the USA. We flew into Boston, and then I drove up from Boston to Bangor. So we came right back to Bangor, Maine, did all the, post-death stuff and all that. And then we immediately turned around and went back to Europe. We went to Prague. And the reason why we went to Prague is because my wife's a Montessori teacher, right? And she wanted to go back to school and get her AMI certification. So we went to Prague, but what was interesting and what was, someday I'll kind of show you, I'll make a video about my, the cameras that I use, but I'm hand holding, this Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, which is in a big steel cage that has a big, monitor right up above it with, a really, really heavy, cinema lens on it. And my arm just can't, it's fucking heavy. So we went to Prague. And what was kind of different about this period of time, this period of our travels, was that me, Dad, was in complete control of the kids, my 2 daughters, all day long. I have never been the primary parent before because my wife, since we had 2 kids, my wife hasn't really worked or really kind of done much stuff that would, require her not to be with the kids all day. Well, this script was completely flipped on us in Prague. And I woke up that first morning of watching the kids all day by myself and realized that this was a new opportunity. This was a chance to do something different. So I gave my 2-year-old daughter a mohawk. What do you have? What kind of haircut do you have, Ruby?
I have this feathers.
Mommy's home, mommy's home, mommy's home.
Oh, look at you.
I got you a present.
Thank you. Oh, how happened to your hair?
I put it up.
Oh.
Beautiful mohawk.
Just basically had fun. It was basically a month in Prague. It was a month of having fun with my 2 girls, and I didn't shoot much video there. I didn't shoot much video at all. Mostly because I was enjoying life, right? I was just digging it and just really having a good time. And anyway, so that month went by, and then we hopped on a flight and we decided to come back to the USA. Why? Because my sister was having a wedding reception in Montana. that was a push, man. Like, even for me, it was like a 4-day drive from like the east coast of the USA all the way out to northwestern Montana. But when we got there, we pulled in the driveway, you know, and my sister, her whole family, and all of our kids are just sitting out on the porch waiting for us. And in this moment, man, I looked at them smiling and waving, and I knew it was worth it.
Oh, nice shirt, man. Hey, Nana. Hey, Stuffy. Oh, how are you guys? That was a long ride. Good to see you guys. Oh, what about Ruby? What about Ruby has to come out? Oh, we left Ruby in the car.
Hi, Mother. How are you? Oh, 1 second, my camera.
How are you?
This is Ruby.
Hi.
Oh, go get them. You never met them before. That's your Aunt Nikki. That's your cousin Spencer. That's your cousin Natalie.
Hi.
And that's your cousin Seth.
Hi.
What do you think of that?
Good.
That's like one of the things about travel, you know, is that, yeah, you can go all over the world, see lots of cool things, and, you know, basically live your dream and do your projects and do all this stuff for yourself. However, that comes at the expense of your connections with your family, with your community, with your tribe. And there is no perfect lifestyle in the world. I mean, I talk a lot about perpetual travel and how great it is to like go all over the world and, you know, do and see all these things and, you know, like make these videos and write these books and articles and all that stuff. Yeah, you know, that's all really cool. That's really fun. I love what I do. However, I know that's not a complete lifestyle. I know that there is not a perfect lifestyle out there, right? There's give and take to any way that you decide to live. And that's one of the cool things about this time that we live in, is that, you know, we can, like especially in countries like the USA or Canada or Western Europe, you know, we're free to choose how we live. We're free to choose our lifestyle. We can like almost pretty much literally, you know, sit down on a laptop, you know, read some blog about people, read about how other people are living, and decide, you know, what kind of life we want to live. And we can change this, you know. Most of us can change this lifestyle, you know, multiple times throughout our lives. And that is like one of the biggest privileges that we have, you know, living in, you know, an overdeveloped country in the 21st century, is that very few of us are truly pigeonholed into living any particular way. I decided to be a perpetual traveler. My sister decided to move out to northwestern Montana and have a family and have a job and integrate herself into, you know, the community out there. Completely opposite ways of life. However, I look at what she created out there. She has this beautiful home, these 3 beautiful kids. Her new husband had 3 kids, so now they have like 6 kids, you know, all running around together in this pack. You know, she has, you know, friends and, you know, people, and she completely interwove herself into like this, you know, community that's, you know, very, very far away from where she grew up. And it was just admirable. I could like look at that way of life and say, yeah, my sister created something here. That was pretty cool. However, that's not the way that I live. But we were out there for the wedding reception, and we all helped out, and we helped set things up for her. You know, I emceed, you know, the ceremony and all of that.
Hello, everybody. We're gathered here today to celebrate the marriage of Louis Fisher and Nikki Shepard.
Oh, it was a really beautiful time. I'm really glad that I went. And after that was all over in Montana, we had to decide how we were going to get back to the East Coast, because we wanted to go back to Maine to visit my wife's family a little bit. Now we had 2 options. One, drive back through the USA, pretty much the same way that we went out there, or 2, drive back through Canada. We chose Canada, and we greatly underestimated how big Canada really is. So we drove up from northwestern Montana into British Columbia, these beautiful mountains and all kinds of people out there, you know, enjoying the mountains and all of that. And then we hit, you know, the plains of like Alberta and like Saskatchewan, right? We stopped over for a night in Moose Jaw. You know, I had some fun hanging out in the bars there with the people who lived there. Heard some good stories. And then we went to Winnipeg, Winnipeg was wild. I mean, I'd never been to Winnipeg. I mean, I'd never had a reason to go to Winnipeg before, but we went into Winnipeg, and it was actually a pretty fun town.
What an asshole. Why would he say this? Why you going straight? Am I going that way? You on the phone, that's why he hung up.
And then from like Winnipeg, we went to like, Thunder Bay, Ontario, or wherever the fuck that is. And from there, we, drove through, the forest of, Ontario until we got to Montreal and Quebec. Hung out there for a night, and then we came back to Bangor, Maine, where I'm sitting right now. But the thing about Canada, the thing about traveling across Canada was that it was empty, man. I'm used to like being on the steppes of Eurasia, right? I'm used to these empty places, Patagonia, Australia, places that literally don't have much of anything out there. The deserts of like North Africa or the Middle East, Oman, right? I go to like, empty, remote places. But man, driving across Canada for 7 days of there either being like, in like Saskatchewan, Alberta, like literally nothing, right? Maybe a hay field like every now and then going to the forest of Ontario, which is just like, just all trees, almost without end or without interruption for like, 100. I mean, at one point we passed a sign and that just said, no gas for like 250 kilometers, right? And not only was there like no gas for 250 kilometers, there was nothing for 250 kilometers but forest. And it was just, man, it was almost surreal at times. And it was just, it was what you want to get out of travel, right? You travel to see something new, something different, something that you didn't expect, right? And we got that in Canada. I mean, I've always taken Canada for granted. I grew up in Buffalo, right? Like Canada was always just right there. It was a place we go sometimes to hang out in Niagara Falls or go up to Toronto. It was just, it's Canada, right? However, when I actually went to Canada and I actually traveled across Canada, met people and hung out with people, got drunk with people and heard their stories. Canada, I mean, at least like the central and western parts of Canada, or even Quebec, right, is an absolutely fascinating country, and I really, really want, that trip made me really, really want to go back to the middle of nowhere in Canada, maybe do a book or a documentary project, or just a series of vlog videos, right? Because the place was, it was different than what I thought it would be, and that is pretty much all you can ask from travel.
It is with pleasure that I conclude the ceremony of the renewing of vows of marriage that join you and binds you as husband and wife. Please celebrate this renewal of vows with a kiss.
Yeah! Get in there!